From WRDW, the station on your side, News 12 at 6 o'clock starts now.
It burned for almost 24 hours, and now the propane line fire in Thompson is out. That is our top story on News 12 at 6 o'clock. Good evening, I'm Melissa Toombs.
And I'm Tom Campbell. Now that the fire is out, the cleanup and investigation can get going. We're getting new images of the fire that killed one man and injured McDuffie County Commissioner.
This photo was emailed to News 12. Now you can see a bulldozer next to that fire. The bulldozer was being used yesterday to dig when it hit that propane line. Now this started late in the morning after the propane line was hit. It didn't take long for the explosion and fire. This is video that shows how intense that fire actually was. Jason McCorkle died during the fire. His father, Paul, was treated at the burn center in Augusta. Paul McCorkle is a county commissioner, and his family owns a nursery. This is taking place near Stagecoach Road and Creekside Drive. That's not too far from the airport and Belmead Country Club. Traffic was redirected around the fire.
Again, the fire is out now. Burned trees and a few smoke pockets are left. The McDuffie County Fire Chief says his crews arrived soon after they got the first call. They surveyed the area and then worked to contain the majority of the fires. Fire Chief Bruce Tanner is a friend of the McCorkle family. He says Jason was a very bright and very active young man.
It will be devastating to the entire community. Paul and his whole family are very active in the community. Everybody pretty much knows them and respects them, and it's going to be hard for this community to recover.
Representatives from Dixie Pipeline are in Thompson today to investigate the explosion. The propane line goes to a number of states from the Texas Gulf Coast to North Carolina. Dixie tells News 12 it's concerned about safety, any people injured, and getting the pipeline fixed.
Residents aren't going to see an impact as far as availability of supplies. But this is an important line, an important way to deliver products that we need safely.
Today, investigators and crews from Dixie Pipeline were waiting to begin repairs. There are several signs posted in the area that say no digging unless you contact the company for help. Dixie says it has no records of that happening in this case. Now, here's what's next. 2 federal agencies are leading the investigation for now. Once that's over, Dixie will be able to make repairs to that propane line. Dixie says its repair crews are getting ready right now. It should take up 4 to 4 days to make the repairs once it gets the go-ahead.
Well, after a short break, summer is definitely back, and that means heat and humidity. Our Chief Meteorologist, Shane Butler, has the first forecast.
Well, Melissa, it sure was nice to have that break last week with temperatures dropping a little bit, humidity levels going down also, but this week all that is out the door. We're back into the sauna again. Take a look at our tower cam at this hour. A few clouds here and there, but a lot of blue up there. It's all dry. 92 at Daniels Field. Dew points running in the low 60s, and we do have a little bit of a south breeze at 6 miles per hour. Look around the region. It's hot in most locations. 93 Columbia, 92 up toward Charlotte, 92 in Rome, and Macon checking in at 90 at this hour. So a lot of 90s across the board. Precipitation, well, some down to our south and west, but that's as close as it's going to get. That's over toward Macon, down toward Albany. We'll stay dry as we head through the late afternoon and early evening. Skies will be partly cloudy for an hour or so, and then we'll see mostly clear skies overnight with temperatures into the 70s. By midnight, looks like we'll drop off in the low to mid-70s. But the heat is going to crank up, but our rain chances will go up a little bit later in the week. I'll show you coming up.
The James Brown Arena has been a popular place the past several months. People have stood in the heat for hours to buy tickets to see concerts such as Lady Antebellum and stood in the rain and cold for tickets to see Carrie Underwood. That's a change from the past. New leadership at the arena is one reason for improved business there.
And for the first time in 20 years, there are talks of changes. There are talks of spending millions of dollars to improve the James Brown Arena complex. News 12's Chris Thomas was there as the Coliseum Authority members all voted in favor of the plan. He's there live now with more details.
Well, hey guys, our cameras were the only ones rolling as they approved this 150-page agreement to spend millions. Sold-out tickets line the hallways at the James Brown Arena complex.
Things have been going great. You know, the public and the community, CSRA community, has been coming out supporting us on everything that we've been doing here.
From Cirque du Soleil shows to a night with monster trucks, these are hot seats. But the 30-year-old building is beginning to show signs of wear and tear.
When we start selling out, you want everybody to have a good experience while you're down here.
Looking back on things, the arena has brought in a lot of money. We're talking $55 per person for some pretty popular shows. So let's put this in the spotlight. They've had 12 sellout shows in less than 2 years. We're talking Carrie Underwood, Cedric the Entertainer, even Steve Harvey. With such big-name acts coming to local stages, the arena looking to spend $5 million for renovations and repairs, at the same time decreasing the operations budget by as much as $500,000.
Increasing revenue and decreasing expenses. You know, that's what we came in here to do.
Those results gave General Manager Monty Jones a unanimous vote of approval at this Coliseum Authority meeting.
You're spending that kind of money, you want everybody to be on board.
The money will replace outdated air conditioning units.
But then also, you got to think of the fact, you know, you want to be more environmentally friendly.
The arena going green to save a little green.
You got to keep it going. You got to make it better. I think it's to make it better every year.
Back here live, remember we're talking about a total $25 million, $5 million for the arena, another 19 or so million for the planned trade exhibit and event center, guys.
Now, Chris, that's all good, but how are they going to pay that money back?
That's the real question, huh? We're talking about hotel motel tax dollars spread out over the next 20-25 years. We're now live in Augusta. Chris Thomas, News 12.
Now, the Crime Team 12, with the help of their tattoo descriptions, investigators have identified 2 bodies found Monday afternoon near Glen Hills High School. Jeremy Hammonds and Kayla Wells were each shot several times, their bodies found in the woods. News 12's Carter Coyle talked to people who were close to both families.
Well, it's been a very devastating couple of months for the Wells family in particular. First, Kayla's parents, Pat and Pam, died within a week of each other back in April. Now Kayla has been brutally murdered. Investigators were at her house late last night looking for lots of evidence. They questioned several people and even towed Kayla's car to look for more clues. Jeremy Hammond's father has been worried about the crowd he's been hanging out with.
He had a good heart. His son is going to miss him. We're going to miss him. I hope and pray that he would kind of gather himself before it's too late, but got too late.
Two neighbors also said they're worried about the neighborhood now, hoping this is an isolated incident. Investigators will not comment on whether they have any suspects at this time. Live in the newsroom, I'm Carter Coyle, News 12.
Of course, another former Hepzibah student died unexpectedly earlier this year. Jewel Miller died in a car crash the day after she graduated from high school. Phone records show Miller was using her cell phone when she crashed. She was driving on Hepzibah McBean Road when she lost control of her car. Miller was an athlete and the Hepzibah homecoming queen.
A 24-year-old Waynesboro man is dead after his car hits an SUV head-on this morning. The accident happened on SRS Road 1, about a mile off of Highway 125. Lester Walker was pronounced dead at the scene. Witnesses say Cameron Williams was driving a Suburban, may have fallen asleep behind the wheel. He was airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries. The crash is under investigation and a toxicology report is pending. A teen accused of making and setting off a homemade bomb has bonded out of jail. Stuart Sims was taken into custody today in Richmond County after spending a couple of days in the hospital recovering from burns. Sims, along with Matthew Cornelison, faces multiple charges in multiple counties. The biggest charge, a felony for manufacturing an explosive device.
Continuing with Crime Team 12, every week we give you a look at crimes where you live. This week it's the Sandhills area of Augusta around the Surrey Center. Parts of this area are in zip code 30904, others in 30909. There are 13 burglaries on this latest report. They include 2808 Wheeler Road, 500 Delano Street, 2908 Norgate Drive, and 624 Bransford Road. There are 11 auto break-ins on the report. They include 521 Boy Scout Road, 2540 Wheeler Road, 2711 Oakland Avenue, and 2801 Royal Street. There were also 11 simple assault and battery reports taken in this area. They include 471 Highland Avenue, 502 Highland, 2918 Norgate Drive, and 2755 Hazel Street. Now, the entire report for this area is only 2 pages long. It's one of the shorter reports. Aside from the burglaries, there were no major problems here.
A company is hired to do some yard work but leaves a bigger mess and doesn't finish the job. We'll take a closer look.
Plus, it's a week for kids to get away from home and the hospital and be kids at Camp Rainbow. That's all it has.
You're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock with Richard Rogers, Meredith Anderson, Chief Meteorologist Shane Butler, and Kevin Feigl, Sports.
North Augusta family hired a tree company to cut down some trees in their yard. Instead, they say the company left a mess behind.
And so far, the company has not finished the job either. 12 News' Brian Baker investigated.
Well, Presidential Tree Service is the company proprietor Willie Mac Harris tells me he travels all around the country looking for work, but one family isn't happy with his results.
Welcome to John Averett's jungle.
I've been through here a few hundred times where it's disgusted me so bad. Let's go it this way, because if you go over that way, you're going to get trapped.
That's now how Averett and his family feel. More than 10 trees scattered in the front and backyards, cracks in his driveway and fence, damage to his sprinkler system. He hired Willie Mac Harris's Presidential Tree Service to cut down the trees and haul them away.
Anyway, you feel violated, raped, whatever you want to put it. Somebody took something away from you that, they had no right to do.
Estimates from other contractors now say the cleanup will cost thousands of dollars.
Contracts show the family paid Harris $6,300. He even showed up a few times and did the job, cutting down trees like this one, but they haven't seen him around in the last 2 weeks. We reached Mr. Harris by phone. He told us he was out of town. He said all he needed to do to finish the cleanup here was the remaining $1,700. And that's where Mr. John Averett is stumped.
I have the $1,700. I've had it ever since I told him I'd have it for him.
Harris also tells us by phone he is registered with the states of Georgia and South Carolina. Try again. Neither state has any record of Harris owning a business or of Presidential Tree Service at all.
We're all going to get burnt eventually by somebody. I always swore I'd never get caught, and I got caught. I always consider myself smarter than that. But, buddy, you can all get burnt, believe me.
Here's what you can do when hiring a contractor. The first thing, make sure an agreement includes a contract. Get it on paper. Also, you want to make sure the business you're looking at is licensed or registered where you live. You can talk to your state Secretary of State's office and your county check with a licensing department. That's public records, so you can find that out. Never pay all of the money up front. And you also want to ask the company for referrals for work that they've done. You also can ask your friends and family for referrals as well for companies they've used. It is so important that you do your research.
Okay, some good advice there. Another rate increase from the Postal Service is now in the works. It wants to raise the price of the stamp from 44 cents to 46 cents. It's part of a series of proposed price increases covering a whole number of services. The increases have to be approved, and that could come within the next 3 months.
It is a chance for kids from NCG's Children's Medical Center to forget about their treatments and be a kid for 1 week during the summer. Camp Rainbow is something these kids have waited all year for. It consists of numerous activities, including group games and trips to places like the bowling alley. It's also a chance for these kids to get away from home and to meet others who are going through the same thing.
Seeing new people and then see what they go through, and then you can kind of tell them your story and help them be stronger and go through their treatments and all that.
Honestly, it is just a boost. It is like an adrenaline boost that lasts throughout the year.
Camp Rainbow is celebrating its 25th year. Campers and counselors say it gets better each year. Hot and dry, that's what we can expect for the rest of the week, but Chief Meteorologist Shane Butler says there's some rain in the forecast. He's going to have the details.
But first, look at your weather headlines. I won't read them today.